Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched WWE Monday Night Raw episode 1393, which was broadcast on February 3rd, 2020. So we opened the show with about a half an hour of Randy Orton getting booed by the Utah crowd before he says, "I can't do this," and he leaves. So he does not explain his actions for having attacked Edge and putting him in the medical facility last week, but I'm sure we'll see more develop in the coming weeks. We've got right now they're building everything towards Super Showdown, except for the women's division stuff, which is building towards Elimination Chamber, I assume, or just building to next week as it would turn. Like, okay, so I'm jumping forward here. This is way down. This is the second to last thing that happened on the show. So we had Asuka versus Natalya. And Asuka won via the Asuka lock. And then she demands a rematch with Becky. Becky comes out. She's got her deal with it sunglasses. Very fun. Like when she first came out, I was like, oh, it looks like it was like a wide shot. Those look like those Pixel deal with it sunglasses. And then she got closer, or the camera got closer to her. Either way, and I was like, oh, she's actually wearing those. So that was kind of fun. But anyway, Becky accepts the challenge, and she catches Kyrie before Kyrie can attack her from behind. And she says, "See, superpowers. He gave me superpower," or whatever. I don't remember. She's saying that since she won at Royal Rumble, she's felt like she has superpowers. But anyway, so she accepts that match, and I thought, oh, that would be cool to see at Elimination Chamber. And as it turns out, it's just going to happen next week. Okay, that's fun, I guess. Anyway, let's see. I was thinking about what I could possibly go. So this weekend, I'm just going to Las Vegas. I was going to do a whole road trip thing from California to Las Vegas to back to Southern California and all that. Now I'm just going to do the one. Just go to Las Vegas because I have a really good seat for that show, and the other shows, I'll just watch them on TV pretty much. But the Sunday show is going to be in Riverside. That's an NXT live event as well. But the Las Vegas show is an NXT live event. It's going to be great. I'm really excited for that. But so this match will be happening in Ontario, California next Monday. So yeah. Okay, going back to the beginning of the show. So then we had Lana versus Liv Morgan, a rematch from last week. Liv Morgan wins again. And as she's kind of celebrating, Lana tried to cheat by pretending that her wrist was hurt, like right at the beginning of the match. But Ruby Riott returns, and she has green hair and gear and all that, and she's awesome, and I'm really glad she's back. But then she attacks Liv Morgan. How awful. So I have very mixed feelings about this, but as far as non-championship feuds go, things are really picking up here with them. And then we also have some other. This is the most different women's storylines that we've had, I believe, on Raw in a long time. That there's 3 different storylines. We'll get to the third one in just a minute, but technically, well, we'll see. Anyway, then we had Mojo Rawley versus Drew McIntyre in a non-title match. The 24/7 championship was not on the line because presumably Drew's not interested in that at all. But Drew McIntyre wins in 3 seconds because he's a soothsayer. He's a spoiler alerter. Is that a thing? What? Okay, they're called spoilers, and so you would say a person who spoils things is a spoiler, but they're dispensing spoilers. So I I guess it could still be called a spoiler, but maybe you call him a spoiler alerter. But that would mean that they would warn you before they give you spoilers. Which in most cases, when somebody's making a big deal out of it, they'll say spoiler alert first, and then not give you enough time to not hear the spoilers. But anyway, they'll say spoiler alert, blah, blah, blah. Or in a text message, starting a text with spoiler alert, and in the same message, I'm going to stop doing that. I do that. I say spoiler alert, and then the thing that I'm spoiling, even though it's usually like some like there have been a couple of times I've spoiled something really bad, not really bad, but like really big, that it actually did make the person I was talking to upset. But what I should do, what everybody should do, if you're going to do that, say spoiler alert. Are you ready for this or no? And then that gives them a chance to say, no, I don't want to know. Or, yeah, go ahead. Instead of spoiler alert, blah, 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 right away. Speaking of, spoiler alert, this episode, I'll be talking about all the stuff that happens on Raw. Anyway, Drew McIntyre is so great. He's so great. He's so great. So great. And I really, really hope that I can get a platinum access ticket to meet him the day after WrestleMania. He's definitely going to beat Brock Lesnar and become the WWE Championship. Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. Like, if that doesn't happen, I will be very upset. But that's got to be the main event. It's got to happen. It's going to be great. And I got to meet him the next day. I hope. We'll see. But yeah, he comes out. He's like, first of all, thank you everybody for braving the blizzard to come here. Like, you never hear that from any, like, even all the other baby faces. He's great. Drew McIntyre, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, next up we had Kevin Owens and Viking Raiders team up to fight Buddy Murphy and the EOP. It's an elimination tag team match. So Eric was eliminated by Buddy Murphy, and then Ivar was injured. So Kevin was left 1 versus 3. Kevin eliminated Buddy first, and then Akam. How do you pronounce his name? Akam. Like that. But in the end, Razar pins Kevin Owens. Because Seth hit the stomp on Ivar. Not on Ivar, on Eric. That's how Buddy was able to eliminate him. But when the referee wasn't looking, so Razar comes away victorious, and great, just great. Then we had Aleister Black versus Eric Young. Aleister Black wins. Last week or the week before, he said, I'm not waiting for people to come to me. I'm going to be challenging everybody else now. And he issues a warning to everyone in the locker room that everybody has a black mask coming their way. Then we had Humberto Carrillo versus Angel Garza, who is Zelina Vega's new prospect. And this was great. This whole segment, like the match was great. The promos before the match, Garza hits Carrillo with the it was going to be a one match between the two of them, but he hits the wing clipper on Carrillo and starts beating him up. And Rey Mysterio comes to the rescue, and we end up with Angel Garza versus Rey Mysterio. An awesome match. It was disqualification after Garza hit the DDT to Mysterio onto the concrete, which was what he was trying to do to Carrillo before Rey came to the rescue. So a fun fact from that I saw posted on Reddit and Twitter. It was a Reddit post of a Twitter post. I don't remember the specifics of it. I am gonna look it up. Hold on. Okay, I found it. This comes from WWE Stats on Twitter. The last time Rey Mysterio competed in a televised match in Salt Lake City, Utah, was in February of 1999 in a tag match against Hector Garza on WCW Thunder. Tonight, in February of 2020, in the Vivint Arena, whatever, Mysterio faces off against Angel Garza, WWE, on Monday Night Raw. That's awesome because Hector Garza is his nephew, and so is Humberto Carrillo. So yeah, that's really, really cool. Okay, let's see where did I leave off. I really, really enjoyed that match and the segments around that match. I forget how long. A lot of the matches tonight were quite long. It was very different from the last couple of weeks. The last couple of weeks have been a bunch of like really quick matches, a few squash matches, some Eric Rowan matches, which are quick squash matches. There was no Eric Rowan on this episode. I speculated. So Matt, it said, "Oh, this is not shaping up to be a good night for Eric's because Eric Young got defeated handily, and Eric from Viking Raiders was eliminated first in that 6-man tag team match." So I thought, oh well, if there's an Eric Rowan match, then he's gonna have his hand bitten off by his whatever's in his cage, and he didn't have a match at all this week. So I think he had his hand bitten off before he could even have a match. And so that's why he didn't appear at all. So it was even more bad luck for the third Eric, who was maybe supposed to have appeared on the show. But anyway, Charlotte comes out. She's following up on last week when she said she would decide later that she would challenge a champion, and she talks through it. She's beaten Becky. She's beaten Bayley. She's held both championships multiple times. And then the crowd kind of spoils the surprise. They start chanting Rhea, and Charlotte's like, "Oh, I love NXT." Like, just trying to save it, but it was like Rhea comes out anyway. Like, she was trying to save it as if that wasn't going to happen. So it kind of lessened the effect. I feel like maybe they should have just had her come out like when they started chanting Rhea, and that would have worked a lot better. But anyway, this whole episode was kind of wonky as far as like the timing of things. Oh, there was an error, a couple of errors during the Liv and Lana match from the entrances, not having Liv's graphics up there, and then the lights in the ring went down before they went to commercial. But then they came back up when they cut back to that, and they were like, "Oh no, we did that too soon." So it was very snowy. There's brain freeze. Everybody had brain freeze. That's what I'm guessing. But Rhea comes out and says, "Well, you haven't beaten me, and in fact, I have beaten you. So if you're gonna challenge a champion, And Charlotte just like walks away, and then it's announced that Charlotte will answer that question, that challenge, the request for a challenge, on this week's NXT, which is just in a few hours. I'm really excited for that. Because there are rumors that Charlotte was going to show up there last week, but this is kind of better because now people who are watching Raw, they're like, oh, maybe I should check out NXT. She seems pretty cool. I need to find the clip. I am certain that the first time I ever saw Rhea Ripley, I think it was in the first Mae Young Classic. I am certain that I talked about in that episode, that Rhea Ripley I couldn't wait to see her fight and kick Charlotte Flair's ass. And it's finally happening directly, possibly, hopefully. So we'll see what happens tonight on NXT. Then we had the Asuka and Natalya match. And then our main event was Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley versus Ricochet. The winner of this match will go on to fight Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship at Super Showdown in just a few weeks. So Viking Raiders and Kevin Owens, they come out to neutralize the Disciples because it's a triple threat, so there's no disqualifications. So they were getting their hands all up in there. But Ricochet, he hits a 630 senton to Bobby Lashley, gets the pin, and will go on to fight Brock Lesnar. But first, Brock Lesnar just runs like hell to get out there as soon as the bell rings, hits Ricochet with an F5, and gloats over him with that title because he is going to be destroyed at Super Showdown. But I hope it's pretty fun before that happens. Like, that we get some like really fast and flippy stuff, and a couple of good hits of offense in from Ricochet before he's just destroyed. I could see him getting suplexed about 20 times, or just once, or no, maybe not even any suplexes, just an F5, and he's done. But I want to see him jumping off of something onto Brock at least once, hopefully 3 or 4 or 5 times, but we'll see. My most anticipated match is Miz and Morrison versus the New Day. Although Ricochet versus Brock, I think that is going to be pretty good. I think those are the only 2 matches now. That's the only one that was added this week. So I'll see what else they have on there. If they end up having like a big battle royal to determine something, I don't know. But yeah, I'll watch. If that's the main event, I'll tune in just for that, and then I'll like rewind it to watch the SmackDown Championship match. But we'll see how all that goes, and just I don't even know what day that happened. I think it's the Thursday after TakeOver Portland, something like that. I hope they have an actual plan. Like, they should just plan on not using anybody that next night on SmackDown, like any wrestlers. They really should just have SmackDown scheduled to be all women matches, segments, and then like Daniel Bryan and stuff like that, and like actually plan on having some NXT people show up. Like, instead of just doing it all last minute, just have that be the plan in the first place, and then if people do get there, they're like, okay, now we can put in some other stuff as well. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's everything from this episode. It was a weird episode, but there was so much in it that I liked. Oh, also Drew McIntyre called himself a sexy Scotsman. So that's why the episode is called that, if you're wondering. I write it at the top of the page so then I forget about it when I get to the actual segment it was in. Even though that was only the 3rd line down. Anyway, Drew McIntyre is great. All right. I'm really excited for NXT. SmackDown this week. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm excited for it or not. I think a couple of things have been announced for it this week, but I'm mostly really excited to go to Las Vegas this weekend just to see NXT. I maybe might go see like a daytime show, because there's a couple of like magic shows and stuff like that. Those are really fun, but I'm mainly going there. I am going there entirely just to see NXT live. So I will talk about that at some point. Maybe I'll talk about that in the SmackDown episode. I'll talk about SmackDown 205 and that. But yeah, stay tuned. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode of Raw by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there in all the infinite multiverses. And I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye.